Hello, and welcome to the 31 Days of Halloween. I am Exolite, and this is my channel. Before we get started, if you would please give this video a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate that. And if you would like to be, and you are not, go ahead and subscribe. Why not? If you'd like to be notified when my content goes live, go ahead and click that bell. Alright. Today we're going to go on a road trip. We started in Washington State, so it's only fair that we go down to Oregon and find some of the most haunted places in Oregon to either avoid or go take a look at. Depends on how you feel. Let's get started, shall we? The first, Battery Russell, Fort Stevens. The place, Warrenton. This Fort Stevens landmark was built during the Civil War, but it also saw action during World War II when the Japanese fired on it from the Pacific Ocean. Several reports say that the ghost of a fallen soldier patrols these grounds to this day, although it's not clear which conflict the spirit stems from. Some have even reported seeing a man in a 40s-era Army uniform walking the promenade in nearby Seaside. The next, the Benson Hotel in Portland. The story behind it, the Benson is reportedly home to multiple ghosts, the most prominent of which is the building's namesake. USA Today reports that Benson's ghost is sometimes seen in meeting rooms, but is mostly known by his penchant for knocking over visitors' drinks, as the man was as pro-prohibition as one could be. Also, there's a 3-year-old boy and a woman wearing a turquoise dress that wander the halls of the Benson Hotel. And then we're going to go to the Bush House Museum. It is in Salem, which I have been to this place, and it is stunning. The story, Eugenia Bush, whose father, S. Ahel, built the mansion in the 19th century, reportedly haunts this Salem locale by tinkering with the air conditioner and the heating systems. If a room feels nice and warm, it will suddenly go cold and induce chills. Some say it's because the daughter of the man who once owned the Oregon Statesman still walks these halls. Next, Candy Cane Park in La Grande. The story is that after a barmaid was murdered in Candy Cane Park in the 1980s, her spirit lingered to caution those who may wander into the area unprotected. She reportedly haunted the merry-go-round until its removal in 2003, and now she continues to walk throughout the grounds. And we're at Cathedral Park in Portland. The story is the murder in 1949 of a Roosevelt High School student, and it serves as the basis for the myth that visitors to Cathedral Park hear a woman's screams at night. The legend is featured in Ghostland, a book of hauntings by Pacific University graduate Colin Dickey. So if you would like to check that out, grab that book, maybe head over and see if you hear any screams in the middle of the night. So we're going to move on to Damask State Hospital in Wilsonville. Before its demolition in 2005, the hospital, which was a formal mental institution, was reportedly a site fraught with strange noises such as disembodied footsteps and keys jangling throughout its halls. The hospital even had a series of underground tunnels, making for an even creepier legacy. If you'd like to go check that out. And it's not trespassing, because exoditis found out that owners of land and the police department don't enjoy it if you trespass. But if it's not, go check that out. See if you hear any disembodied footsteps. If you do, let me know. So we're going to move on to the Oregon coast, the Egyptian Theater in Coos Bay, which I love. The Oregon coast is my most favorite place on the planet. The Coos Bay venue is reportedly haunted by the ghost of an elderly woman who, according to KDOCK-FM DJ, prowls the lower stage area and can sometimes actually be seen in the auditorium's balcony seats. Maybe you can hang around in the dark some night. See if you can see her sitting up there. I know I would. Now we're going to head on down the road, quite literally, to Highway 101 near Cannon Beach. The place near Cannon Beach. Obviously, the story of the Bandage Man of Cannon Beach can be found in the book Ghosts, Critters, and Sacred Places of Washington and Oregon. And according to this book, the Bandage Man is an apparition wrapped in bloody bandages that loves jumping into passing vehicles on their way into town. Aside from the book, tales of the Bandage Man are confined largely to cheesy web forums with names such as Chugnut, which doesn't necessarily mean it's not true. Although I can say I've never seen him jump in front of me. Now we're going to go to Hot Lake Hotel in Hot Springs. It is also in La Grande. The Hot Lake Hotel was originally built facing a nearby bluff, not the hot springs that were eventually used for both leisure and to treat physical ailments. At one point, the resort's owner, Dr. William Thomas Pye, rebranded the facility as the Hot Lake Sanatorium. I'm sure that made so many more people like to go vacation there. Hotel? Sanatorium? I don't know. The resort was used on and off until 1991, when it was abandoned. It was purchased and restored in 2003, but some say they can still hear the voices of a former guest and former patients. A piano that was once owned by Robert E. Lee's wife also reportedly plays on its own when it's on the third floor. Now let's hop on to Lafayette Pioneer Cemetery. The place, well, Lafayette, of course. The myth surrounding this supposed haunted cemetery revolves around the hanging of a witch in a cemetery in the late 1800s. The witch part of this story is said to be debunked, but the clarification is just as gruesome. A convicted axe murderer named Richard Marple was hanged near the jail in 1887. His mother, Anna, was known as a gypsy by many in the town. This was somehow interpreted as her being a witch, and in many tellings of this story, she's portrayed as the one who was actually hung. She died in the southern Oregon town of Jacksonville in the 1910s. I love a really old, rickety cemetery. We used to go to one near where I grew up, and it was so old that when you walked through the cemeteries, if you walked over a grave, your foot would fall through the ground, through the casket, and into the whatever else is in there. Now we're going to head on over to Multnomah Falls, which is east of Portland. This is my second favorite place on the planet. I could go see these falls every day of my life. It is one of the most photographed places in Oregon, and I happen to have plenty of photographs of myself there. The often visited waterfall has a very sad history. The story goes that a Native American woman was sacrificed there. And according to the Portland Monthly, she jumped to her death in order to spare her tribe from a coming illness. Some say that they can see her apparition in the water, while others claim that she returns every winter to visit the site of her death. Okay, you cannot go on a road trip through Oregon without going to the Oregon Vortex, which is in Gold Hill. I've been there myself, in case you hadn't noticed. Although it is reportedly not haunted, the Oregon Vortex is one of the creepiest places in the state, and that is for sure. A team for the sci-fi show Fact or Faked Paranormal Files scoured the site for any hint of a haunting, but they came up short. However, the crew's horses would go nowhere near the vortex. They would turn the other direction, and when the team tried to get the animals near the site, the Fact or Faked team also failed to find an explanation for the visual tricks the slanted cabin plays on visitors. If you're going to go on a road trip and you're the kind of person who likes to stop and see attractions on the side of the road, hit this one. If you have kids especially, and or if you're like a kid, you're going to really like this one. And this last one for now, the Shanghai Tunnels in Portland. If you have had a K-12 education in or around Portland, you have definitely heard about the Shanghai Tunnels, where sailors, loggers, and other blue-collar workers were taken under Old Town and sold off to sea captains in search of the crew. And this, according to historians who tell the stories of visitors who were definitely abducted and shipped from Portland through the tunnels and sent to far-off lands. They would crush glass and cover the tunnels with them, take the shoes of everybody they kidnapped so they couldn't walk over the glass. If you are going to see sites, I would highly recommend this one, and it was even on Ghost Adventures, where they did a tunnel episode. It's been used in the TV show Grimm, which was one of my favorites, and Leverage, it's one of those. So, again, if there's a place where you should go and take a tour, take some photos, see how it feels, I would highly recommend the Shanghai Tunnels. Thank you for coming today. And if you would please give my video a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. If you are not subscribed, it is free. You can go ahead and do that. And if you'd like to be notified when my content goes live, and there will be 31 videos put up for the month of Halloween. So keep coming back. Leave a comment below the videos so that you can be entered to win an Amazon gift card. Also, there will be a link for donations to this channel so we can keep giving you content. Good night.